Okay.
This is Andy Leonard with Data Driven, the Data Driven podcast, and it's the podcast where we talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all things data science. And joining me today from SQL Saturday Albuquerque is
Kathi Kellenberger. Hi.
And you go by what on Twitter, Kathy?
Aunt Kathy or Aunt Kathy,
Aunt
however you want to
Aunt
say
Kathy.
it. Yes.
Cool. Very cool. So we've been friends for, 2005 or something?
Yes.
When we started writing that book.
I forgot it had been that long.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
I know it's a painful thing to think about. Being
Why?
friends for that long. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So
No.
you've worked in data for a long time.
Yes.
I know your backstory. The people that follow us on Data Driven do not. So I know you started a different career.
Yes.
What was your different career?
Pharmacy. I was a pharmacist for 16 miserable years.
So you
Did
sold
not enjoy
drugs.
it. I sold drugs, and my husband, who was a chemist at the time, made chemicals, and I sold drugs.
Well,
It
there
was
you
really,
go.
we were very corrupt.
And
so.
here we are in Albuquerque, the setting for Breaking Bad. I think this is all just meant to be.
Could be. Yes, but I loved computer programming, and I was always writing programs for home, and eventually I learned enough and became a developer at first. 21 years ago, I became a developer, walked away from pharmacy, and eventually I ended up, just because I liked the place I was working, and a database administrator job came up, so I applied for the job and as a DBA and got it, and spent 8 years there as a DBA, and then worked for Pragmatic Works for a while.
Yeah.
And then I had my own little Kellenberger consulting company for a while.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me to now, what I'm doing.
And
so
you're...
now I have like the absolute most amazing job in the world. I'm working for Redgate, believe it or not. Redgate.
Nice.
I know. And I'm the editor of Simple Talk. So along the way, since 2005, with that first book, we did tech editing.
Yep.
You know, different people's chapters, and from then on I got involved with lots of books, as have you, as a writer or a contribute one chapter or a tech reviewer, and I just love that so much.
Yeah.
And so this job at Redgate just was a perfect fit for me, so I'm thrilled. I just wake up every day and can't believe it's true. I might get used to it after a couple years, but right now I'm still just can't believe it.
Those are the best jobs. You know, when you love what you do, you know, you're not really working, are you? You're just playing all day and getting paid.
Mostly. I have never found any job that was complete playing all day. They all have their moments.
Sure.
But if the fun and the playing, you know, is 85% or some, you know, vast majority, well then absolutely.
Well, you also get to participate in online events as part of Redgate. Right?
Oh, yeah, like SQL in the City, which is coming up in June.
Awesome.
And we are going to be talking about data protection.
Well, that's important.
It is very important, especially since the GDPR enforcement starts this month. So I will be speaking at that. And this will be my third SQL in the City streamed. You can see it all over the world live. That will be my third one. So I'm really excited about that. And actually, just to represent Redgate at events like SQL Saturday or SQL Bits, you know, all over the U.S., all over the world, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is so nice. Well, I know you enjoy writing, and you're a very good writer. I'll just say that.
Thank you.
I enjoy reading your work.
Thank you.
I enjoy reading Simple Talk. I think it's a great online newsletter / magazine. It's kind of a hybrid, really, because it's a lot. There's a lot of articles in there to just call it a newsletter.
Right. It's an online technical journal.
Oh, I like that.
That's what it really is.
I like that. That's a great description.
Yeah, and then we take some of the articles and send it out in the newsletter. So, or you just might be doing a search. You want to find out something, and just may land on our article. So it's really great for me because I was writing for Simple Talk. I can't remember when I started writing for them, but I've written several articles for them.
Very cool.
And so, you know, that I'm thinking that might have helped me get the job because they already knew me pretty well from that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they're a great company.
Oh, my gosh.
I got to visit last June. I was in that area, and I'll look at me with my messy hairs. Sorry.
Mine's messy too.
Well, it's the wind in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
I got to go over and hang out there in Cambridge, I guess it is.
Yes, in Cambridge.
and very interesting headquarters. And, things are different in the UK if you're not familiar with that. It just is. But fantastic group. I got to hang with the Davids, I called them. And we talked about tech and databases, and I got to be interviewed. They go through these spells, I would call them, as in Farmville vernacular, where they basically spend like a week at a time talking about what are we going to do next. Kind of an innovation week, and I happened to hit on one of those weeks. Wow. So I got pulled into a bunch of meetings.
Nice.
Well, it was. I got to share some of my opinions and stuff. I was a little worried because I'm not a DBA. The things I shared were like not applicable. So I'm hoping I didn't steer anyone wrong. But it's great place over there. I'm happy that you're there. I love this SQL in the City streamed. I think those are great events. It was a fantastic idea. Of course, I got to see Annabelle, and that's always awesome. She's
wonderful.
Just awesome. She's go.
She is, because not only is she just a great personality, a really sweet person, she is really, really good at her job. She's amazing at her job. So,
I can tell.
From what I've seen, everybody I've met is amazing at their job.
I agree.
And fun. It's a quirky place.
Yeah.
Everybody is, none of us are normal at Redgate. We're not normal. We're all quirky. And,
that's funny.
And so that's one reason I love it. There's great personalities, great sense of humor.
Yeah.
We don't take ourselves too seriously, but we work really, really hard. Yeah.
Well, you make a great suite of tools. I just think it's awesome work that you do. I've used them for a while, even though I'm not a DBA. I use SQL Compare and Data Compare, and I've been inspired by those products even to write Catalog Compare. Wow. So I've actually had some talks early on when I was thinking about the ideas for Catalog Compare, because I wanted the GUI to be familiar to DBAs. I wrote it for DBAs managing SSIS catalogs. And I met with Richard, I will mess up his name, Richard M.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Macaskill, I think. I hope I'm not butchering his name too bad.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure.
But I met with him in
McGaskill, maybe?
McGaskill, I think is how you pronounce his name. Yeah. Sorry, Richard. And David Atkinson, I believe.
He was one of the original founders, right?
No, I think that's David Pond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the name, but I'm not really sure.
Developer manager. We talked some about it, and they asked some really good questions. They were very open and helpful. Again, just like the rest of our SQL community, I found them to be found them to be very helpful. Even when I'm talking to product companies about becoming a product company, they were very helpful. Yeah. So I really appreciated their feedback. One question that I know our listeners or viewers are, if they're watching this on Facebook, what do you think of all this data science stuff?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Yeah?
So last year I decided I needed to go back to the real world and get a real job.
Okay.
For some different reasons. And that was one of the things I was looking at. Yeah. I'm like, I have these not amazing, but I have 20 years of experience with SQL Server and data science teams. I heard that 80% of what they do, they don't like that 80% of gathering the data and cleaning the data, the munging the data. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, that's what I'm good at. I love that work. So I started doing the Microsoft curriculum on edX, and I got through 8 classes.
Oh, wow.
So I have one more to take, and I have not gotten back to it. I'm really in the final project. So I'm really excited about it because as somebody who loves data and exploring it, this is just like a whole new world.
Wow.
But for me, it is. So I'm really excited about it. Here's something very cool. My daughter is a chemist, takes after her dad, and she is actually part owner of a small pharmaceutical startup. And she wants to get into data science. She wants to actually do more in that realm, and actually the skills can help her now. So she's learning it herself.
Nice.
And for a while, she's been asking me questions as we go along, and now she's like getting to the point where I'm like, okay, you're surpassing what I know.
Wow.
I mean, she's a pretty smart girl. I should say woman. She's not a little girl. She's got a whole career, kids, everything.
Okay.
But she had. Was very close to getting a math major.
Okay.
She has a really strong math background, and she loves it because she's like, all those classes I took in college, I'm actually using that stuff now.
That's data science. There.
Yeah, I mean, she's really good at statistics, and she's just really good at those. So she's got some of my computer
There
teams.
we go.
So, yeah, I think it's great. I think DBAs should look at this, even if they don't plan on changing careers or modifying careers. There are things that you can do in your own environment, to help you out. Looking at Perfmon collections, things like that, or find ways to help your company. So it's a great skill. And
some of those examples that they use on edX actually pull logs, and do analysis on logs, and it's really amazing. The one thing I'd share with you, I don't know if you've looked at this or not, there's some overlap in the number of classes between the data science curriculum and the big data.
Which would make sense.
It's mislabeled, in my opinion. Big data is actually data engineering. It's what we've been doing, what we've been writing books about for a decade. It's the same thing. And I started data science. I didn't get as far as you did. I got like 3 classes in, and I got distracted by work.
Right.
But I went and took the big data certification and finished that. I just finished the capstone last month, and it is exactly, you would love that if you're still into it. Now, if you want to do data science, I don't want to stop you, because I'm going to go back and finish it.
I'd like to do both of them. But the thing is, when I had my consulting business, it was really just part-time. It really wasn't a lot. I was working maybe, I think last year I averaged 18 billable hours per week.
Oh, that's not bad.
It wasn't. So I spent my other time, I was switching back between writing a book, creating a Pluralsight course. That's what I was doing. And I also teach for a nonprofit called Launch Code. Launch Code, look it up, guys.
Launch Code. We'll put it in the show notes.
Launch Code. There's several branches around the country, but what I'm doing is I'm teaching a group of women who want to change careers. So I'm teaching T-SQL and reporting services, because if you don't have an IT background, I feel like that's good enough to get a job, an entry-level job. So that's what I'm doing.
So you're helping others take the same path you did, out of a traditional career into tech.
Yeah. And
that is so cool. You're like really the perfect person to lead them.
I feel like, okay, I'm going to say this. I don't know if I'm the perfect person, but I am extremely lucky, because I'm the type of person who has actually found the purpose for my life.
Interesting.
And this is the purpose. This is my purpose.
What is your purpose?
Oh, to teach SQL, to teach these people.
Yeah.
So, I've got books. That's part of my purpose, the books and things like that.
Yeah, sure.
But especially Launch Code, teaching people that have not had a chance maybe to get an education, or not happy in the career they chose, and to do this. So right now I'm in the middle of developing my class so I can hand it off to somebody else, and then I want to start creating a new class for them.
Awesome.
So it's a lot of work. But one of my first students, I actually had her last year. She's now a database administrator at a financial company.
That's got to feel so good.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. It's so amazing. So I'm telling these women, I'm like, hey, I switched careers when I was, I think, 37 or 38.
Wow.
I switched careers.
Which was like, what, last year? Year before?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But, I didn't have something like that. I just got books, and I just went crazy. Back then, you could get bigger than you can show.
Yeah.
I bought Visual Basic 4. And I bought MS Access, and they came with these great big boxes with all these books. And I just started going through all the examples, and eventually it sunk in.
Wow!
And that's how I learned. And so I want these people to have a chance. I'm making it a little easier for them to have a class, and there's a lot of fellowship, camaraderie, networking with this group. So they're not sitting alone learning this. They are spending some time alone, but they're getting together at Bread Co., which is Panera for you out of St. Louis people. That's what we call it. We call it in St. Louis, Bread Co.
Okay.
That's where the headquarters is.
Nice.
But we are just, so there's added benefits because a lot of women, so my group that I teach is just women. Okay. That's not Launch Code. They will teach anyone, but my group is just women. But I'm hoping they use my materials to teach mixed or men as well.
Yeah.
But, so now I thought, lost my train of thought. But
back in the day, we would do it by reading books.
We were doing it. Yeah, we were just working on our own.
Yeah.
And it was a lot harder. So this is really great. I think
it sounds like a fantastic service, Launch Code.
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. We'll definitely put notes, a show note in there with a link, and we'll put a link to your part of that, the T-SQL part. And
I don't know if there is a link to just my part. There's like one page for Coder Girl that lists all the different sections.
Okay.
So there's one section that says, I think it's called SQL Server and Databases. I don't know how they came up with that. Cool. But what I want to do is develop more classes, not do as much in-person teaching, but do more creating materials for them that they can use in throughout their organization is what I'm hoping to do.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Well, Kathi Kellenberger, thank you for joining me for this data point. I hope everyone watching live got to enjoy this. We're going to post this as a data point over at datadriven.tv. So if you want to do that, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to record this machine running. And I did that so that I can use the noise cancellation in Audition. I'll train the filter and it'll take it right out. Anyway, thank you so much, Kathi.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye.